I am not Dennis Green. I am hosting the Apolitical Talk Show today with over here my good friend David Tees. And we're going to have a couple guests on today, but I'm going to be just kind of running the board. David Tees is going to be handling most of the interviews, but I want to make sure that we get everything done the right way. We're going to be taking phone calls through all of these conversations. And our first interview is going to be with Maggie Beyer, and we'll introduce her again in just a few short moments. But just as a matter for the people that don't know our call-in line, please call 847-931-1410. That's the call-in, be on the air. You could ask the different candidates some questions. I'm not going to set much of the stage because I want David to do all of that. So I'm going to switch over right now, turn on the microphones for everybody that's in the room over here. And we are now with David Tees. David, tell us what's going to go on for today, please.
Well, today we are going to have Maggie Beyer come on in a few seconds here. She's in the studios with us. She'll be here for a half hour, and then we're going to talk about the 0.75% sales tax increase and about the elections coming out, about getting out and voting. And I know mail-in ballots are showing up to people's houses right now, so we'll get in touch with that. Then at 5, after the commercial break, we will have Mark Smith, the commander, coming on to talk about his run for city council. And at 5:30, we will have our very own Miss Cecilia Brooks coming in and talk about her candidacy. So that should cover up our whole show today.
That sounds like you got a real nice lineup. It sounds really good, actually.
Yes, and if anybody out in the Fox Valley area, St. Charles, Geneva, Carpentersville, anybody running who wants to come onto the show, feel free to contact us here at WRMN Radio. And we will get you set up for next Tuesday. I think we have one candidate coming in next Tuesday already. So we want to try making this spread out for the whole entire elections out. So if you want to push your platform, feel free to call us. We'll get you on the air.
This is the place to do it, folks. WRMN, we've committed ourselves to be community broadcasters, and we are trying to bring as much information as we can to the Fox River Valley. This happens to be about the election that's coming up right here in Elgin. It's a nonpartisan election also. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of unique. It's, a lot of times it's the Democrats against the Republicans. Each one of these candidates have their own affiliation. They have their own bias. And it may come out, it may not come out. But this is the time for you. Call in, ask them questions. David's going to do a fine job of asking most of the hard questions that most people want to hear. At least we're counting on him to do that. So going any further than that, I want to thank you both for being here. Maggie, always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you, Dean.
Okay, and then we got David Tees. Take it away, my friend.
All right, Maggie. I've known you for a while, and we're friends, and you're running for City Council of Elgin.
That's correct, I am.
Mm-hmm. Your first time running for a political spot like this?
For a political spot like this, it definitely is. It's been quite a learning experience, too. I'm usually very detailed and organized, and that has helped tremendously with this, but there's more to it than I thought.
Yes. When I ran for King County Board, it was a lot of work, and I could not wait for the day of the election. I was just like counting the days, and I know you're probably feeling that way, too.
Well, you're just so busy all the time. Sometimes I have 4 different events in one day, and you just want to go everywhere to let people know what you're thinking so they can understand if you're a good candidate or not.
So why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself? Where were you born and raised? Are you children, grandchildren, dogs, snakes, spiders? What do you got?
No snakes or spiders. I was born in Chicago at the American Hospital, which was by Wrigley Field. And you have a Sox shirt on, but I'm a Cubs fan.
That's fine.
So, anyway, and when I was younger, I went to Our Lady of Angels School, the one that burned down in Chicago, but I wasn't there at the fire. I was there for kindergarten, which was a room across from the actual church. But we did go down that night because a lot of our family was there still. And one of my cousins died in the fire, and one of my uncles got hurt. His arm was burnt when he tried to climb a ladder to get over the fence. But then we moved out to this area here, and I've been here since 1955. And at that time, my brother and I were ice skating because my mother couldn't afford a babysitter. But it turns out we had a real knack for that. And I became a professional ice skater with Ice Capades. So we traveled with them for about 6 years.
I've seen the video of you and your brother on the Ray Rayner show right? Was that
It
right?
was the Bozo show. It was
Oh,
a
the
Christmas.
Bozo show.
Yeah, it was a
Okay,
Bozo.
I thought it
It
was
was a
regular.
Christmas special on WGN.
I saw the video. It was in black and white, everybody, and they were phenomenal. They were very good. I mean, I can ice skate. I'm really bad at it. I fall down a lot. So you got grandkids,
I
children?
have 10 grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren, 3 sons and 3 Rottweilers. Um, so I'm kind of involved. And this last Sunday, we had a tea party at the house for them because some of them are moving to Spain, and I wanted to say goodbye to them. So we had a very fantastic little tea party. But as far as what I am, I called Elgin my home for the last 30 years, and I'm a self-funded candidate. And people said, how can you be self-funded if you also have Citizens for Maggie? What happens is once you spend $5,000 of your own money, you have to form a committee. So I am also the committee. But that's why I'm self-funded and still a committee at the same time. That's how that works. And I decided I would only run for 1 term. And the reason for that is I don't want anybody to think that they can sway my decision and tell me what to do because they want me to be reelected or I want to be reelected. I want to just do what's right for the city of Elgin.
How long is the term for city councilman?
4 years.
4 years. That's good for 1 term, right? I
That's
think term
definitely-
limits is a good thing to have, right?
I think we should do that more often, to have term limits.
So, let me ask Maggie, you're doing the 1 term for that reason because you believe term limits are important and that's a way to
That's
get
one
it
of the
going?
reasons. But the other reason, too, is I think that if you think you're going to get reelected, you might change your decision on something compared to knowing you're not going to run for reelection, that you'll do what's still right for the city and not what would make you get reelected.
Okay, so you're doing well. Let's say you get elected, and you're doing well, and your 4 years are coming up, and you've got so many other things that you really either got your hands in or your vote on or whatever. You would just not go for a second term, huh?
That's definitely true.
So you're definitely going to commit to saying only 4 years.
Correct.
That's a hard decision to make.
Not for me, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I mean, a person that's going to be accomplished. I know you because we worked together on the America First Responders Fest. And as far as organization skills, I could vouch for that 100%. I think you, excellent organizer. Definitely
Thank
keep
you.
things right where it has to be. Tough when you have to be, and you're very much a lady if anybody's seen you out. So, okay. I just curious about that. That really caught my ear because that would be a hard thing to hold. You just want 4 years and that's it.
I went 4 years and do my very
good.
best for the 4 years, and then let somebody else have a chance to.
Yeah, best of luck. I think you'll accomplish it.
Okay.
It's very noble, very wise, and it gives somebody else a chance
That's right.
that wants to try it because I think, like I said, every time somebody new comes into any political spot, they want to make a difference. But like you said, you don't want to get influenced and get intimidated. Well, we'll help you, you help us, type of thing there. So I get
And that's the same thing about being self-funded. I mean, people have offered me money, and they said, "Here, take a check." And I said, "Thank you very much, but I really don't want that. I don't want to, later on that you might come back and said, 'Hey, or I gave you $1,000 or $500. Would you do this for me?' I don't want that there. I want it to be clean cut."
on top of that, I do know you're involved into a lot of charity organizations. You help out around Elgin. Can you tell us what organizations you're involved in and what you do with
Well,
those?
we have 30 minutes, right?
I know, but is it a long list?
Well, I belong currently to 12 different organizations here in Elgin.
Just give us a couple really quickly.
Okay, well, I'm president-elect for the Elgin Symphony League. And that has been a lot of fun. And to be honest with you, I really wasn't into that kind of music, but Larry was. And I decided we'd do this one together for him. But once I started listening to the music, I really got involved with it now. And I like that one. The other one is the Elgin Women's Club. And hopefully the Elgin Women's Club will be on the air again like they were before, because that club actually had 3 ladies years ago in the 1800s that started Sherman Hospital. And I was really impressed with that. So I decided I wanted to do that with them. I'm also part of CPAAA, which is the Chicago Police Academy Association here in Elgin. I'm the chairperson for Elgin Township Committee on Seniors, and I totally enjoy doing that because I really have a lot of good programs that we have with Marion Rowe and other people, and you're on the committee.
Yes,
That's why
I
we
work with
know
you on
each
there
other.
too. Mhm.
Yeah, that's why we know each other. But we do a lot of good things for the citizens here in Elgin, these senior citizens. I'm the co-founder of Kane County Medical Managers. I started the organization years ago, and I was a president for 10 years. I had 80 different offices with numerous employees in those offices I took care of. I also managed the building at Century Oaks Medical and Dental Center of the 23 doctors and dentists there. I was also at the same time working for Drs. Ramesh Khanna, and I took care of our surgical and our cancer patients for 42 years.
You do have a long list. I mean, is it still going on? Okay, let me ask you a question. What made you want to run for city council? What is your vision? What's your dream? What do you want to see different happen in Elgin if you get elected?
My main thing was the homeless situation. I had tried for 2.5 years talking to the city of Elgin and Elgin Township about a program called Built for Zero Community Solutions. But I never got anywhere. I gave paperwork to people and nothing happened. So I thought, well, maybe if I got on the city council, then I can make a difference because I could say, I am Maggie Beyer, city council person. Listen to me, you know? So that's the reason I started doing this. But then what happened was Tent City had the fire and it really escalated, which of course is a good thing that people were taking care of. But I'm still very much into that. And I want to see them because the people are wondering, what are we going to do after April? What's going to happen to the homeless people at Tent City there now at Lexington? And there's plans for it. I mean, Built for Zero, they did this in Rockford. Rockford was the first city that had functional no homeless people, functionally zero, they call it, homeless people. The plan worked there. And it's also worked in 144 other cities in the United States. And to know one thing that really surprised me, Japan has no homeless people. So it is possible we can do this, but we have to work on it. And I think the city of Elgin's doing a good job. They're working with the police department, the fire department, the social workers, mental health. You know, all these organizations have to get together and not take one ownership and say, I did this. We have to do it together to help the homeless people here in Elgin.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that 100%. On top of the homeless, what else do you think Elgin needs? Because I know I'm still waiting for a water slide park in Elgin. I will keep bringing that up. But what else do you see the vision of Elgin that you want to work hard with your new city council members when you get on the city council?
Well, there's a lot of things here in Elgin that people would like to have. Everyone says the same thing. We want to have Elgin to be like St. Charles or Dundee or Geneva, and we're not. And why? We have the same river. So I think there's things we can do with the river. I think we could have individual paddle boats that could be rented out. It would be a good business for somebody, and the people could go up and down the river. I think Elgin could be maybe the spot for bachelor parties and bachelorette parties, and maybe the Grand Victoria could have a nice hotel there and a beautiful restaurant. The other night, Larry and I went out for dinner, and I was between two meetings, and we didn't know where to go. And it was at nighttime, and where would I go eat in Elgin? We ended up at the Gale Boarding Cafe, which was a nice meal, but
Yeah.
you know, we weren't thinking that. We were thinking of a nice sit-down restaurant, and we had no place. So I'd like to see that happen. I also would like to see a calisthenic park here in Elgin with a skateboard park. We have to get something for our youth to do too, and that could bring them to the situation. They can go work out there, and even older people can do that too. They can exercise and make them healthier.
Right.
That's something else I would like. And I do like your idea about the water park.
Oh, I already got a vision. We'll talk about that. I already got it. A hotel, restaurant,
Yeah.
indoor, outdoor water park for both seasons. I even got the property picked out if somebody wants to buy it from, big money hotels,
No,
But
possible.
like what you touched on one basis, stuff for the kids to do. Like I said, a long time ago, when Elgin was back in, Steve Thorne talked about this today. Elgin was a happening spot. You had traffic jams. You had to come through here. You had all the stores, like you said, open until 9. Now it's gone, and there's nothing like you just said. There's nothing a lot
There's
for
not
the
a
kids to
draw,
do.
no.
You got the sports complex. They could play soccer, baseball. That's about it over there. They got a BMX park track there. I
that's
think they do have it there, but I don't know if the soccer fields took it over. So, but like you said, you're right. To get children out there and doing things, and
family events too.
Oh, yeah.
I had put on what's happening in Elgin. I asked people, what would you like to see different in Elgin? And one lady said she'd like to have a building where people could just play indoor tag as a family. Very simple thing. It wouldn't cost much money because you're not buying equipment. You're just running around, and you're playing tag. And it's a good family
yeah,
orientated type game.
yeah, we do stuff for families to get together and do stuff and go out because I know back in the day when the riverboat used to have professional fights there. Big Ted. Oh yeah, they were televised on Fox. That's where I met Hector Macho Camacho Jr. there, and his son was fighting it there. But those were fun stuff to do. We had the drone shows. We had the hot air balloons. Those are stuff for families to do, not the fights, but
Well, I have to say that's one thing too about the park, the festival park. I normally would not come downtown Elgin at night by myself because I'm afraid to. I'll be honest about that. I was actually attacked in my car in Elgin one time in broad daylight. So maybe that's why I'm kind of leery about going downtown. But what has happened now with the police, when they have the festivals, They are really there all the time. And that made me feel safe. So I went down there for this festival that was at nighttime. And I think if we had more of that too, then people might come downtown.
That sounds pretty good, actually. We're going to take a quick break, Maggie, if you don't mind. Everybody, this is WRMN 1410. If you'd like to call in, maybe ask Maggie a few questions. She is running for councilperson over here for the city of Elgin. Coming up, when's the election?
April 1st.
April 1st.
Yes,
And it's
April
not
1st.
a fool. It's a real deal. No April Fool's joke there. But 847-931-1410. When we come back, anybody has a question or two, we'll be happy to open up the lines here and ask away. This is your opportunity. We have several candidates that'll be here today and throughout the month. So this is the time to ask your question. So a political talk show. We'll be back in a few short moments.
Now available.
All right. So if anybody wants to call in, and this is your chance to ask Maggie Beyer, running for city council, any questions you want about her platform, you could call 847-931-1410. And we only got so much time, and you got time to get the questions in here. So Maggie, it's like we talked about, getting on the city council, the visions for Elgin. Maybe you could tell the listeners a little bit. You know what city council does when they have their meetings, and what do they talk about? What's their duties?
As a matter of fact, I'm quite surprised. They have their meeting at 6 o'clock. Then they have another meeting at 7 o'clock that usually goes to 9 o'clock. Then they have the executive meeting too. And they meet with the city manager once before each meeting, not that time, but maybe a couple of days before. And he explains to them what they're going to be talking about and about the bills. And he presents these forms and papers to them. So they have to digest that information. And that's one thing I'm fantastic at, because I can digest information very quickly, and I'm a quick thinker. I'm not a quick speaker, but I'm a quick thinker. And that's when some of the times with the forms, when they ask you to answer a question in 30 seconds, it's like, by the time I think about it, it's gone.
So why don't you tell?
But let me tell you about one thing
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
really wanted to talk to too about Elgin. I think Elgin really has to enforce the codes, the city codes, excuse me, the codes that are going on, because there's so many people that aren't doing what they should be doing with their properties. They have their garbage cans outside. They have cars parked in their yards. They have garbage in their yards. And when people drive through a city and they drive through Elgin, they go, oh, look at this. I don't want that to happen. I want our city to enforce our codes, so when people drive by, they think, this is a beautiful city, and I want to live here. Especially when you get off the tollway on 25 and the tollway on 31, you want those areas to look very nice. So I'm really for full enforcing code enforcement.
Yeah, I agree with you. Downtown, they do keep up clean. I
Yes,
see
they
the
do.
city workers clean in here, and downtown is really good. You're right. People keep up an appearance. People will keep coming and driving in Elgin. There is, code is actually doing a really good job. A lot of houses to cover, so you can only do so much.
But the problem with that, too, is people themselves, excuse me, I'm losing my voice here. The problem with that is that people have to call in about the code enforcement, and nobody wants to do that on their neighbor.
Yeah, I see something, say something. The always policy goes. So I know. Why don't you tell us about your platform? What your, like you said, we talked about the vision, the future. Is there anything else you want to talk to the listeners about?
Yeah, the Downtown Neighborhood Association, I'm really pleased with them. They changed the zoning that they have, so it makes it easier for people to do business down here. So that was something very good that they did. We also, I hear music going again. This is like the forum.
Yeah, you know what I think we're going to do? Do you mind sticking around just a little bit, Maggie?
We got time.
Originally, we had the show for you. We were going to be on our first half hour. But you know what? Time goes so fast, and we can't control that. But we have to take this bottom of the hour hard break. And when we come back, we will be talking again with Maggie Beyer, who is running for the city council position, City of Elgin, and David Tees is going to be asking the questions. Don't forget, you still have a chance to call in, 847-931-1410, and we'll be back right after these messages. Hey, we are back, WRMN 1410, a political talk show. Today's guests we have in the studio right here, Maggie Beyer, who is running for councilwoman, I guess it would be, councilwoman, councilperson, over in the city of Elgin. And leading that conversation is our very own David Tees. David, continue with your conversation, sir.
Okay, where did we leave off? You were
We were
actually
left
talking.
off with the code enforcement.
Yes.
And we just wanted people to know, too, that there's a code enforcement thing that you've done wrong, that you don't get fined for it right away. What you would get is a notice. They'll come out and talk to you, and then it doesn't cost you any money, but they'll at least they'll educate you to tell you what needs to be done.
One of the things with code enforcement, as me being a plumber, and
Oh, yeah.
the landlords, they keep up on rentals. They inspect them every year, and they give violations. If they don't get any violations, they don't have an inspection for 2 years. But they are pretty good with the rental properties.
Oh,
But it's
that's
hard to
good.
keep up with that. What else is one of your pet peeves with the city of Elgin that you would like to see different and change?
Gunfire shots.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do.
Yes, I know, but it does bother me because it has gone up a lot lately. And you think to yourself, why? And I have to be honest, I went to some event that they were having for the historical house walk that I volunteered at. And as I'm driving there, I saw a young man on the street with a gun in his pant pocket, which you could see. And when if you have concealed carry, you can't show it. I don't think he had concealed carry. And I thought to myself, what's he doing with a gun like that in broad daylight? But again, this is something that I personally think it has nothing to do with the campaign, but that's how I felt
Right.
about that.
Yes, and would your suggestion be let's get some more police officers? Let's see if there's a budget for it. I mean, we need, yes,
You don't know
every
that,
city
yeah.
needs more police officers on the street.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, I think also that, I hate to get in these conversations. I think also that there has to be accountability when you do something wrong.
Yes, you're right, exactly like that. But that falls into the county.
That's right.
But
That's
police
right.
doing their
Yeah,
job
yeah,
here,
yeah.
and let the courts deal with that. One of my pet peeves is I live on a side street and I got a 4-way stop. Nobody stops. They just blow right through it, Dean. It's just like bam, you're just like, wow, somebody's going to get hurt really bad, or a kid. Safety is probably one of your top, as you just said, safety is probably your top of your list here.
That's
Hey,
why-
folks, we do have a caller in.
All right.
now.
Oh, okay.
Or not, I shouldn't say a caller. We have a message
Oh.
coming in here, and it says, how has your experience in your volunteer work given you the courage to run?
Actually, I think just the person I am. I just have a lot of confidence in myself. I feel I'm creative. I feel like I can make a difference, and that's why I've done it. But working with all the different organizations, I work with Food for Greater Elgin as well, and that is a very humbling experience. And I know people won't like what I'm going to say, but the first time I went there, Larry and I were thinking about buying a vehicle for our dogs. And I know that sounds extreme, but we have 3 dogs. But once I went to work there and saw what people were doing and coming for food at the food bank, it made me think twice. I'm not spending money on something like that when people can't afford food.
Yeah.
So that bothered me a lot.
And I tell you, I was able to take a tour of the place. Andres took me through it along with Mike Warren. And the people that they reach
Yeah.
and help, it is just totally amazing the amount of families that are helped by that organization. And they've been helping the city of Elgin
Correct.
with those, what do
We
you call
actually
those
bought a cooler.
meals? Hector Foods,
Yeah.
Spectre, I forget the name of them.
But we also bought a cooler, the Elgin Breakfast Rotary Club, which
Yeah.
I'm president-elect of.
We were
We
part of
bought part of the money for a cooler, and then all there's a cooler at Lexington, so the food stays.
Isn't that great?
viable. Yeah, I'm very
But they
proud of
make
that.
sure, and Greg Schiller is the one that heads up the distribution on the site of the Lexington. But just like you said, Mike Warden got involved, the Rotary Club. I'm proud to be a member of the
That's
Rotary
right,
as
you
well.
are, yeah.
And it was just a nice initiative. But I'm just speaking about what that, Food for Greater Elgin does. It's just an outstanding organization.
And I'm very proud to help them too.
As you should. Yes.
So
great place.
you actually go in there and deliver food to the
I
Lexington?
actually serve. I do the produce, and Larry says I
Oh,
come
okay.
home smelling like produce, and I actually feel like I've worked labor-wise,
The green
which I've
grocer.
never done. Yeah.
So the both of you have been inside. I haven't
I've
been
had-
inside.
Oh, David, you should really do it sometime. It makes you feel so good when you
Mm-hmm.
leave there and you've done that. You have a soft spot in your heart, and you think, I really helped these people.
You let me know when you want to go. I'll go there with you.
Yeah,
It's-
I mean,
what
I
a-
want to see how
what an organization.
want to see the reaction to the people. I would, because all of us don't know what's going on, and they're like me. I want to see, are they happy? Are they smiling? Are they
Well, you have to
humble with
remember
everything?
the Food for Greater Elgin is a choice food pantry, which is different. So people pick what they want. There's limits to things, but you can
Right.
pick what you want. And when it comes to the produce, we ask them, do you want oranges or apples or bananas? Do you want lettuce, carrots, things like that? And they make those decisions, which make them feel good too. It's not like you're just giving them a box
Mm-hmm. Right.
of food, which they do that too.
So
for
yeah,
homebound
so
people.
Dean, what's the atmosphere? Are people happy?
Well, I
or-
tell you what, they treat, when I was there on 2 occasions, The first time I had just a little tour, the place was all closed up. I was very impressed with its cleanliness. And then I happened to see when the people were going through, they treat them with such dignity, just
Yes.
like what you're speaking. They allow them to choose. There's like Andre's candies in there, if you can imagine that. Those are not nickel dime candies. You know, those mints you get at a restaurant or something. There's like what do you want to call them? Cereals, even the frosted flakes type. They've got all kinds of little snacks and treats, as well as, you know, your healthy factor meals. That was the name. So it's factor meals that they have there. And the factor meals are no shortchanged food item. It's got a balance of nutrition, you know, and the proper calories. So that's, you know, it's everything in there is really good for you. You
Right.
know?
Right.
Of course,
They also
excessive.
have milk and they have
Yeah.
eggs and they have, well, I don't know about right now, but they normally do. They have meat and people get to choose this.
Yeah,
It's like going grocery shopping. in a
Exactly,
way.
and it's set up just
They have a
that way.
cart, yeah.
Sometimes they'll put limits if they don't have abundance of certain thing, but everybody is at least able to get one item of everything, and most of the time as much as they need. If you have a family, they'll do what they have to do to accommodate you.
I always ask that too, how many people are in your family? So
Right.
Yeah, well, that's also too like with Clint Hall, running for mayor of St. Charles, talked yesterday that they have homeless in St. Charles. So it's not just Elgin. Every municipality has
everybody
homeless.
has.
Everybody, anybody's one step away from being homeless at any given time. An accident, a stroke, you can't work and you lose everything. It could happen to anybody at any given time.
But that's why we need more affordable housing too in
Right.
Elgin. That's a problem. A lot of people don't want to be homeless, but they can't afford to have an apartment or a house. So we had more affordable housing that would help.
Do you have any ideas or visions as to how you would like to weigh in or come up with ideas how we could come up with a solution when it comes time for them to move out of the Lexington?
Are we talking with people there?
Yeah.
Actually, that's what I was hoping Built for Zero Community Solutions would help them with and give them a solution of what to do with them. I think what's going to happen is they'll probably be there a little bit longer than what we thought.
That's what I'm kind of thinking too, because they still got to come up with a plan and idea, and hopefully we get everybody at City Council to come together. We are going to have some new candidates coming in and out of there. Not everybody's going to win. There's eight city councilmen and women, sorry, and there's only four seats that could be voted on.
Correct. But
So-
we have a number of candidates running for that.
Do you have a message before you go here in the next 3 minutes to your
I just want to
voters?
say I really wish the very best of luck to all the candidates running. I know them all well. They're friends of mine, and I think they're all excellent people. I think I do an excellent job only because of my personality and my knowledge in the background, too. So I want to thank you very much. We'd love to see you come out and vote. Our early voting starts March 17th. Over at the Elgin Township and other locations. And just in case you're not registered, don't worry about that. You can go and register the day you go to vote. You need two forms of identification with your address on there and your name, and you can register to vote that day.
Did you get your mail-in ballot yet?
I got my mail-in ballot. I already voted for who I was going to vote for, and I already mailed it back.
Who'd you vote for city council?
Yeah, me.
But I know that's a tough one. Who do I vote for? Yeah, I mean, you
It's
know,
so nice to saw my name first on the list, Maggie Beyer.
Oh, you had your
I've got my ballot already.
petitions in
Yeah.
first, so that's how you get number one on there, if I remember.
Well, it was a lottery.
Yeah.
and
Oh, this is lottery
it
out
was a
here.
lottery. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how you got to be.
Well, Maggie, we glad to have you on the show
thank you
today.
very much, and
I
thank you
think
for
people have
allowing me
a little better picture of you. Those that don't know you and are fortunate enough to be acquainted with you, I think today was really well. David?
yeah, I think it was great. And if you want to see Maggie, you have billboards. You are on 31, a big billboard of Maggie Beyer. It's wonderful.
By State Street Market. Yes.
Yes.
There's a big billboard, and there's another one on Walnut by the train station, another one. They're both illuminated, and I thought that was a good idea. I mean, there's a lot of signs that people
Sure it
can
is.
have up, but these are illuminated. And I took my picture next to the billboard and went, that's me.
Nice. No, you know what? You're serious about what you're doing, which is what I like. You're serious about the 4 years, because I know if you're saying it, 4 years, that's all you're going to do. I know that's all you're going to do. So I just want to say best of luck to you,
Well, thank you.
and we'll wait to see the outcome.
That's right.
And
And I want to thank you very much for allowing me to come on the air this afternoon and to be with you two guys.
we're glad to have you on.
Glad to have you
Thank
on.
you
Thank
very
you so much, Maggie. Everybody, Maggie Beyer, City Council. So get out and vote. Vote for your candidates. Here's one of them. You get to see her on the billboards and in the studios today.
There you go. All right, we're going to be back after these short messages. You are listening to a political talk show. and we will see you in just a few short moments.